Well, hello everyone and welcome to week 33 and 34 of my life as a L3 CTS cadet pilot. It's week 2 and 3 of New Zealand. Apologies for not being a video last week, but throughout your training you will have good weeks and you will have bad weeks. Last week was a really bad week for me. Roll titles. So, last week, week 33, it wasn't all bad, but I'll get the bad news out of the way. Basically, every single flight got cancelled, all 5 of them, and also suffered a death in the family. So, wasn't a good week, recording really wasn't an option. However, on the plus side, got really good at doing mass and balance and aircraft performance. So, when I did eventually get in an aircraft this week, I blitzed that in a matter of 5 or 10 minutes. So the one thing that did go well on week 33, week 2 of New Zealand, was the New Zealand PPL Airline exam, which we are required to pass to fly solo over here. Every single one of us in our class have passed it, so that's excellent news. Bad news is for that exam and our EASA differences exam, it's a requirement in New Zealand for every question you got wrong that you write a sort of like mini report on, well, why you got it wrong and explain what it is. And unfortunately I didn't get 100% in either of them, so I've got some deficiencies. I think I've got 2 in EASA differences and I think I've got 5 in air law. So that's going to be lots of fun. Still need to do that. Need to make sure that's done before going solo, otherwise it won't be allowed. So, on to this week, which is week 34, the more fun week. Finally got flying. For me, it was just nice to get back into an aircraft again. It's been 8 months since I last flew an aircraft, and it just felt really good. New aircraft type for me. I mean, I've always flown Cessna 152s, 172s, PA-28 and a few other ones dotted around in there, but I've never flown a diamond aircraft before, so there's something to get used to. I think the one major difference for me is the usage of the rudder in the air and on the ground. I've noticed on takeoff that the DA-20, you need almost a full rudder deflection when you go full power. Apparently that's something that happens in motorised gliders, which is something I've not experienced, so something new for me. And also how they steer on the ground. All of the aircraft that I've flown, I've had nose wheel steering, so if you push your left rudder, the aircraft will go left. With this one, the rudder pedals only control the tail fin, so to turn the ground you have to use differential braking, and that's taken quite a bit of getting used to. But the actual content of the lessons for me, because I'm already a PPL licence holder, it's more of just going over all I've done before and learning the L3 operating procedures. So learning a bit about, well, the radio's been a pretty big one. There are some similarities to the UK, but it's just getting used to a new location. And another thing that I need to watch out for is where I've been flying, there's been no magnetic variation. Whereas in Hamilton there's 20 degrees east variation, so you need to get used to that. So you need to know what weather services are in true and which ones are in mag. So for example, if it's from the tower, it's in magnetic, if everything else is in true. So I think I've covered about 4 or 5 lessons so far. Initial things you cover is the effects of flying controls. It's pretty basic. You just go up and you're shown basically what all the controls do, so pitch, roll, yaw and power settings. You also do a couple of lessons on straight and level flights, so you need a fairly good horizon for this. So basically what you do is you get up there, the instructor will fly straight and level, and then he will ask you to work out your reference points. So for me, the horizon should be 3 fingers above the bonnet of the aircraft, but Obviously if you're taller that might be 4 or 5, if you're shorter it might just be the 1. But you'll find out what works best for you. And then after straight level you go into, I believe it's climbing and descending. I've done one of those so far, and that's just basically what it says on the tin really. You're just shown how to do climbing and descending. Now for each flight the instructor is required to check certain items off, and once you've done that you can either stay up for a bit longer, do a few extra things, which is what I've been doing. I've been just trying to get used to a different type of aircraft and getting back into the flying. I think it was on my 5th flight I actually asked my instructor to do sort of like a tour of the local area, and that was quite nice. And also we went to a place called Palanui Beach, because I had back-to-back lessons in the same aircraft, so we thought we would go further afield, so that sort of combined 2 lessons into one, so that was quite nice. So that was week 34. Week 35, that's coming up next week. Hopefully we'll be able to film this time. No more bad news please, I've already had enough, my fair share of New Zealand, thank you very much. But with regards to scheduling, we get our schedule the day before, so I can't really tell you what I'm going to do next week. I mean, I could end up with all of my flights cancelled because of poor weather, or I could end up doing 5 or 6 flights. We do not know, but making good progress. And as you can see, forgot to mention the room elephant in the room, and that is the room. I'm not in the hotel anymore. I've in fact moved into Clearways now. Still got some stuff to unpack, but I've done the vast majority, just trying to get settled in at the moment. People seem very friendly. It's generally quite quiet in Clearways, which is very good. You can get some sleep, and it's quite good to get rested. I mean, we had some rain last night, and yeah, you can hear it, but it's fairly quiet, so that's good. Once I've tidied things up a bit, I'll give you a bit of a tour of this place, and yeah. Just trying to think, is there anything else I need to cover? Regarding scheduling, there's obviously a lot of rules that we have to remember. For example, we're only allowed to work an absolute maximum 6 days running. We also have duty time limits, but because it's the days are quite short at the moment, it's winter here at the moment for me, so the 12-hour duty time limit isn't really an issue, but obviously when we get into the summer that may become an issue if we have 2 flights in one day. So on that note, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share it with anyone who you feel might be interested. Thank you very much for watching. See you again next week.